Hello, I am author Misty Jacobs, and I am inspiring or aspiring to be a actress, model, and I am doing a little bit of ex- amateur work on the sides. And I've been published 4 times. In my pursuit for publicity and hoping that I might get discovered, I have done a lot of publicity stunts. And in these publicity stunts, I have told a lot of stories. The stories were usually inspired by families that I had to advocate for as an animal rescuer, people that I assisted in the community that needed help trying to educate or bring awareness to whatever species they had to deal with. Or also being on Facebook and in a lot of groups, you see a lot of like just drama and just people bullying people, and telling people things that they're doing wrong and making them look bad because they don't do it exactly the way that somebody thinks that they should. So Facebook has been the number one inspiration for a lot of these stories. In these stories that I tell, I play the main character, because that's part of me trying to act and trying to, it helps with experience in acting that I have to become this person in my mind, and I have to try to convince people that I feel this way, because whenever you see a movie, what it really is you've got to buy the character that that person is playing. So I use other people's situations a lot of times, and an example of this was I'd seen where Petco had gotten in some trouble for freezing rats live. And there was just all kinds of drama forever, like going on and on and on about Petco allowing rats to be frozen live, hiring people that were freezing them live and that were being cruel to them. And so in one of the stories that I told was I became that person that was being cruel to the animals, that was freezing rats live. And I played it out for quite a while. I was just working with it. I don't know, I had to do some research about freezing rats and how it's done. And so I could argue that and manipulate, kind of what I'd learned about them, as any good author does. They do their research thoroughly. If you're playing somebody who's, schizophrenic, then you got to understand how schizophrenics think to be able to write that story and make it convincing. So I did a lot of that research and everything, and then I became that character. and it got a lot of publicity. In fact, it got me banned out of a lot of groups. It got me harassed for over a year. I was stalked for over a year. I was that convincing, which is more proof that somebody should give me a job. Give me a job, I made all these people believe that it was a true story and carried it out for that long, and they still believed it. And there were some that didn't believe it. They knew that I told stories. They knew that I was an author and that I got on Facebook and I looked for opportunities to write and took advantage of situations and became the characters of things that I saw. And those people deliberately defamed me, slandered me, spread gossip about me, telling people that I was cruel to animals. And it's still one person in particular started stalking me about 4 years ago, and he has deliberately and intentionally stalked me ever since. For 4 years now, he will go and harass customers and other people. I've had to completely almost shut down my Facebook because he was scaring people to death and the police wouldn't do anything. Customers I had, people that were helping me and were very supportive of me publicly, he would go and then threaten them and threaten to take them down for supporting me. He's supposedly a very respected person in the reptile community, and I don't see how anybody who's respectable would go and bash somebody over a story. And he knows, and I've got screenshots where he knows I tell stories, and he's even said it. He's confessed this, but he continues to spread screenshots of my stories that I've told him he's not allowed to have copies of. He takes them, he spreads them around, and he tells people that they're true stories and that I'm abusive to animals and I need to be stopped and I need to be brought down. He's got a bunch of people helping him out. They're going around Facebook now, getting me kicked out of a lot of animal groups and getting me banned from those groups. And it's a really sad world that we live in when a person can no longer play a character or tell a story and become that person in that story for the story, without having their reputation constantly brought down. I mean, people kill people and they still have the rights to have a job, and they still have the right to go to work, and they still have the right to not be harassed and to be able to work the same as anybody else. And when you do break the law, whether it's rape or murder or whatever it is, you have the right to a fair trial. And when people start taking the law into their own hands, like this particular person has done, and start, keeping people from being able to make money and being able to work, and they take the law into their own hands, that's just wrong. And what these people are doing is wrong. But this is what goes with the territory. This goes with celebrity type positions, public figures. This stuff happens. I mean, how many people are in the media all the time for stuff that they didn't do? Most of the time it's things that other people have made up. It's not things like me being an author has made up, and played the main characters, which I wish people can't really see. A lot of people can't understand how that is. But it's like this book I just wrote, and there's a copy of it on Instagram, on Facebook, and I'm going to be putting a copy of it on my YouTube channel. And it's just like that I wrote. In that book, I talking about me, and I say, when I grow up, if I never grow up, I wonder what will I be. When I grow up, if I grow up. I mean, repeatedly, it's talking about I. Well, obviously, I'm grown up. And I wrote the book in 2010, and it was published in 2010. And obviously, I'm a grown up. I'm 33 years old. So back then I was, what is this? So back then I was in my 20s. And obviously I was grown up, and I already knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a writer. I want to be a model. I want to be an actress. So obviously that is not a story that's about me. That's for whoever's reading it, to appeal to whoever's reading it. The child that's reading it. When the child reads it, they're going to say, when I grow up, what will I want to be? I'm already grown up, but it's just like that. I'm just the main character, or it's just the way it's worded. It has nothing to do with me or anything I would really do, or anything I would ever really be, or anything that I agree with, or anything that I want. But as an author, as an actress, as an author, I have a job to appeal to a wide variety of audience. I mean, there's all kinds of people in this world that that like different things, and I have a job to write in those different categories. A serious writer will appeal to her audience or his audience. So I do try to do that